What would you do if you are Cooper Flagg with your future? Does anyone out here want to play at the bottom rung of the NBA ladder? I asked this question watching that Charlotte team that has never played a meaningful basketball game, and I've watched Anthony Mason and Jamal Mashburn. That franchise does not know what it is to play a meaningful basketball game, and
never even been to a conference finals. That franchise.
Well, but I mean, Michael Jordan, one of the great disasters in ownership, except for he makes money on his way out, but nothing good happened there the entire time he was there.
They look like they were onto something. Then Dwayne Wade murdered the guy in the purple shirt.
Yeah, purple shirt guy ended everything for them. They were trending up for the first time in franchise history.
Something was happening there, and then Dwayne Wade said, "Sit your ass down." Nothing since.
That is kind of the history of it. But Charlotte hasn't played a meaningful game since.
Yeah, the headband.
Oh, it was crazy.
And you're going to go play as Cooper Flagg for a team worse than Charlotte?
So I've talked about this a bit recently on ESPN Radio with Cooper Flagg, where we're in an age where, okay, he could make as much staying another year at Duke as he would his first-year salary, almost as much maybe, in the NBA, even if he's the number one overall pick. You enter the draft, you see the Wizards or the Hornets. These are godforsaken franchises, okay? I don't want to go play there. You pull out of the draft, you're going to go back to school at Duke, because being the big man on campus, pretty awesome, really fun life, and you're going to make a lot of money. But the pushback that I've gotten, and it is interesting, the pushback that I've gotten is if you stay another year in school, you're delaying yourself another year of getting that first contract after your rookie deal. And that first contract, by the time he gets there 5 years from now, I mean, it's like a $200+ million deal.
The thing about money to me and these conversations that are most interesting is I wonder if I go back to retired athlete and say, hey, at 50 or 60, what would you pay to have another year of college before it became the big giant business of pressure? Because one of the things that happens when you arrive at these kinds of successes and become an economy for things is that you get to the pros and now it's just a lot of responsibilities. You thought it was going to be fun, but you're running a business and you might like the playing. You're not going to like actually very much the practices and the shoot-arounds and all the meticulous sculpting in basketball. But if I gave anybody in our audience, how much would you pay to go back and have a year of college as Cooper Flagg, not as yourself?
Oh, my God.
Not as yourself, as Cooper Flagg. What would you pay to have another year of that before you go become Kyle Kuzma and just start wandering around alleys in Washington because, 9,000 people are watching your games?
How about the kids that got drafted out of high school? Would you ask them, would you rather have gone to college instead of going straight to the pros?
I mean, the reality is these endorsements are carrying over either way, right? So, you're going to make $12 or $13 million as the number one overall pick in your base salary that you make $0 in your base salary in college, and all the endorsements that you're getting, the quote-unquote NIL deals. This is the same conversation we were having about Caitlin Clark last year. About, if she stayed at Iowa, she'd get all this NIL money, but you're still going to get all of the sponsorships that come with NIL money if you're in the NBA. And wherever Cooper Flagg goes, if he stays for another year, what makes you guys think that the Wizards and the Hornets aren't going to be the two worst teams in the NBA next year?
Draft is still amongst bad teams next year.
Right, but it's a lottery. It's not the NFL draft where the worst team, and they're going to be terrible again, and the worst team
give
gets
up $12.6 million. That's what the number one overall pick got this year in base salary. Give up $12.6 million so that maybe next year the ping pong balls go the right direction for you.
And you get another year of college. It's why I'm asking you about the price. I'm asking
why is college a fun thing for Cooper Flagg? Hanging out at Duke?
Fun. Do you want to go to Louisville and Blacksburg and Charlottesville and all these other ACC places every week, or do you want to play in the NBA? Yeah. I think he's probably having a fun time because he's in college, but I think it would be more fun to be a professional basketball
player. It's also really cool being an NBA player.
He's definitely having a fun time in college, but it's not just about which is more fun, being the big man on campus at Duke or being a professional player and the number one overall pick. It's about what is going to play for Washington or Charlotte going to do to my career.
So let me ask you guys a different portion of this, because I guess everyone's in agreement. Wow, the NBA seems like it's fun. I'll get new friends. But I want to just explore for a moment the idea that whenever I talk to these professionals who have made all the money, they talk about where their regrets are and how it changed from college to the pros in terms of money and responsibility. It may be different now because college was no money, and so a lot of them were broke together, and we can romanticize it, the Christmases that were terrible once you get to the good Christmases. But when I tell you that this group of people that I've talked to over the years always say that before it became a business, it was a different kind of treasure. And it's something I was doing with my friends, where then I went to go work with my coworkers. What would you give for a year? Because it's not just big man on campus. It's big man on campus with your friends. And you can say make new friends, but I'm telling you, now you're wearing a lot of responsibility in the pros, and you're not going to get away with the stuff that you were doing in college as the big man on campus. What's that worth to you? The dream. Because if everyone says they want to be a rock star or an athlete so that they can, get fame and sex and money, he can have all of that at Duke.
Yeah, but he's an 18-year-old. It's not like he's finishing up his 4th year and he's choosing to leave a year early. Like, he was a mercenary and he went to Duke, and he's going to turn it down to go to frat parties? Like, his dream is to go to the NBA, not hang out with the Duke boys.
It's also like 2 of his teammates are going to be top, 5 to 10 picks anyway. Also, they're going to leave. So all the friends that he's hanging out with, that's going to change. And I would imagine he gets away with more at the NBA level. Like, you're talking about all these things, you could do and be the big man on campus at Duke. I would imagine the structure of being on a college basketball team is probably even more limiting than it would be playing in the NBA.
Also, the hubris of somebody who's going to be the number 1 pick and has been the best player and has been told they're the best player for the last 5 years of their life. That idea is like, I'm going to go to Charlotte and I'm going to be the reason why they're good. I'm going to go to Washington and I'm going to be the reason why we're going to turn it around.
That is true. These guys have that ego where they believe they're going to be the reason for the winning. But man, like, we were probably saying the same type of stuff, and I know injury plays a role, but Zion Williamson was supposed to be that guy. You're going to draft him number 1 overall, and he's going to turn your franchise around. And it's like, hey, he's with an organization that, hasn't really done anything, and now he's toiling away there, and they're still kind of a garbage franchise.
But he made a lot more money because he left after being a rookie than getting hurt at Duke. Like, Cooper Flagg just got lucky that ankle injury wasn't a lot worse. If he gets through this March Madness unscathed, this man has to go to the NBA draft, because if you risk another potentially big injury like Zion would have had in college, then you never get that contract.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, Zion escaped it. That shoe thing could have been a disaster for Zion. Why would you risk getting injured in college for $4 million in NIL money when you can get a $12 million guaranteed base salary next
Yeah, but we're
year?
talking about that like as if the career-ending injuries are a common thing. It's like, that doesn't really happen.
But it's one less contract, right? Think of Jimmy Butler's a perfect
Well,
example
one less,
here
it's
of
1
at
year
the end of his
away.
career. Right, but at the end of Jimmy Butler's career here, right, he's getting one last contract at a certain age. If he were 1 or 2 years older, maybe he doesn't get that deal he just got with the Warriors because of an extra year of wear and tear. So by entering the league later, you're shorting yourself of one last contract. And right now, the contract that they're giving out to a max player at 35, 36-year-old is 2 years, $120 million. Imagine what that's going to be when Cooper Flagg is there 15 years from now. You might be missing out on that last payday because you didn't go for one more year of college where you can make $5 million. It makes no sense.
It doesn't make, when we're talking about dollars and cents, this one is so interesting to me, because if I ask hypothetical person X, hey, you're going to have made $100 million in your life, would you like to go back and have another year of something that felt more like childhood for $7 million, for $6 million, for, would you like another year before the responsibilities? I'd just be curious what the answers are. I know what all your perspectives
Well, you're
are.
asking all people who are retired, who already made all of that money, who are longing for a day that they thought was the good old days, that when they were in it probably weren't so happy.
Also, like, it's not playing big-time college hoops at Duke. It's not something akin to childhood. It is like a job. You're getting paid significantly less than if you have that actual job in the NBA with a collectively bargained base salary. So it's not like, I mean, it's a lot of work. Like you're going back to college to do a lot of work, and for someone who's been the best basketball player in his town and now at his college, he probably wants to play against the best basketball players in the world, which play in the NBA. It's why he was part of all of the USA basketball camps this summer and was playing with Steph Curry and LeBron and practicing with them before the Olympics.
Duke was a business trip for Cooper Flagg. It wasn't like fun college time.
Yeah.
I mean, that's awfully absolute.
It's a stop on his journey. His goal wasn't to go to Duke and attend there for 4 years.
I get, but you're doing it absolutely. I don't even disagree with you, but you're making the NBA huge fun at every turn. I'm going to all these cities.
I don't think Duke is fun, if I'm going to be honest with you.
Probably not.
Give me a list of places to go. Duke's not on it.
It's, well, I mean, that's not the definition.
You give me a list of places to go to have fun. Duke is not on that list.
I guess what I'm getting at is
Dollywood.
if he declares for, and he will, if he declares for the NBA draft, and then you got the draft lottery at the end of May, and the Washington Wizards win that draft lottery, no one is sitting down and having just a conversation saying, look, you would be a year further away from getting that next huge contract, but also let's consider, do you want to play somewhere where you're winning 25 games every single season? Is that going to make you happy?
And just as this last point, which one do you guys imagine is more fun? Just curious when you say playing against the best right now. The person, the LaMelo Ball or Cooper Flagg?
It can't be fun. What
But
LaMelo
he's
Ball's doing.
guys. Next year, the NBA draft lottery is going to be won by a bad team. Also, like, what's the confusion here? He's not going to be drafted by like the Lakers.
No, there's a difference between a bad team and like a poorly run team. Utah is a really bad team. Danny Ainge knows what he's doing. You know, if Utah gets the number 1 overall pick, Cooper Flagg is likely going to be in a really good situation. If the Wizards get the number 1 overall pick, he's going to be in a terrible situation.
He keep losing. All of a sudden, that ping pong ball for the Heat. 4%
Ethical
chance, 5%
tanking.
chance,
Ethical
6%
tanking.
chance. Could have had Wembanyama.
You can't do that. Culture